The island has never faced anything like this. The skies burn with darkness, cities are crumbling, and the swarm is spreading faster than anyone can fight back. The strongest heroes are faltering, and chaos is winning. And now, everything is building toward one final confrontation. Reality itself is on the brink, and the island's fate will be decided in the upcoming live event. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. The Swarm accelerated their production rates to unfathomable levels, overwhelming OXR agents stationed at their outposts. The mighty supernovas who had saved the island countless times were powerless to stop the tide. Utopia City, once the shining jewel of Oninoshima, fell to infestation, swallowed by hives and nests. But even in despair, Hope refused to back down. She dispatched the looper into the hive itself, knowing that somewhere within its festering tunnels lay answers. Deep inside, the looper fought through endless waves of Onimorphs, planting sensors to track energy signatures radiating from hive stashes. The readings revealed something chilling: tainted eggs humming with demonic energy. Hope pieced together a bold theory. These weren't just ordinary eggs. They were queen eggs, first laid in the spirit realm before being brought to Oninoshima. If their unique energy could be studied, it might weaken the access point that allowed the swarm to pour onto the island. And more dangerously still, that same energy could potentially be reverse engineered, granting the heroes access to the spirit realm itself. To test her theory, the looper was sent back into the hive, face to face with a monstrous queen. The battle was brutal, but when the dust cleared, the looper stood victorious. The data they carried back confirmed Hope's suspicions. Her plan could work. But if one queen had made it here, it meant something far worse. The spirit realm may already be overflowing with more. The war for Oninoshima was only the beginning. But how did we get here? It all began with Dago's reunion with his master, a moment that should have been triumphant. But instead, the dark presence revealed its monstrous form, lashing out with violent tentacles and tossing Dago aside. The supernovas rushed in, launching a desperate counterattack. In the chaos, Superman delivered a decisive blow, severing one of the monster's massive tentacles before finally driving it back into the spirit realm. Dago was freed from his curse, but the battlefield was scarred, and that severed tentacle was left behind. At first, it was just a rotting husk, but as the days passed, its stench grew unbearable, drawing swarms of flies that circled endlessly. Then, the nests began to appear. Strange insectoid creatures started to crawl from the shadows. What no one realized at the time was that this was the beginning of the Onomorph infestation. The mutated insectoids multiplied, establishing a hive in the center of Oninoshima. Their numbers grew with terrifying speed, overrunning landmarks and sweeping across entire regions of the island. That's when the OXR, the Onomorph Extermination Rangers, reactivated. Once thought disbanded, this militaristic organization returned under the command of General Onyx Winter, determined to combat the infestation by any means necessary. They forged uneasy alliances with the supernovas and the island's natives, all united against the swarm. Meanwhile, Hope, Dago, and the Night Rose studied the strange insectoids and their connection to the spirit realm. What they uncovered changed everything. The Onomorphs weren't native to Oninoshima. They had been drawn here, connected directly to the dark presence through the severed tentacle. The repeated conflicts between the spirit realm and the island had weakened the barrier between the two worlds, giving the swarm its opening to invade. From there, the war escalated. Outposts fell, cities crumbled, and the OXR called upon the looper to join the fight. Their first missions were desperate defenses, holding OXR bases against endless waves of Onomorphs, pushing back hive expansions and trying to slow the advance. But Hope and Jones had their eyes on something even bigger: the spirit realm itself. They believed that somewhere within it lay a zero-point shard, a fragment powerful enough to shift the balance. Their search led them back to Dago's ruined lair, where they discovered an anomaly. It pulsed with energy directly tied to the spirit realm, and confirmed what they had feared. The swarm was slipping through a hidden access point. And this is how we reach this moment: a city lost, a queen slain, and a desperate theory that might just give the heroes their first chance at turning this war around. The infestation has begun, and what comes next will decide the fate of Oninoshima. The discovery of the queen eggs inside the hive proves Hope's theory was right. The swarm's invasion is tied directly into the spirit realm, and if those eggs can be reverse engineered, the heroes might finally have a way to fight back. But while the battle with the swarm rages on, a new mystery is starting to unfold. The fractures between worlds are spreading faster. Reality itself is breaking apart, and all signs are pointing toward the spirit realm preparing for its final strike. And that's where things get complicated, because the evidence doesn't just lead back to the dark presence. It points to someone else, someone who's been lurking in the shadows since chapter 4. Kado Thorne. The red cube, the crimson rifts, his strange updates to the files, it's all connected. And if we piece the evidence together, the truth might be even darker than we thought. Let's start with the evidence we all know, the red cube. By now, most players have seen it looming, pulsing with crimson energy. But the real question isn't what it is, it's why. Back in chapter 1, Kevin the Cube glowed purple. His energy tied directly to rifts in the sky. When we saw rifts again later, they carried the same eerie purple glow. But now, in OG, everything tied to the cube and rifts burns red. And in Fortnite lore, color is never random. The rifts now glow crimson, the cube itself pulses like it's alive. Even the butterflies spawned from the rifts have shifted from their signature blue or purple into blood red. This color change isn't cosmetic, it's symbolic. That same aura is tied to the spirit realm. It's the same glow we've seen bleeding from portals, and it might be a sign of the dark presence fusing his power with the 0-point shard. So the question becomes, is the red cube just another Kevin? Or is it something more sinister, a cube directly born of the spirit realm itself? To answer that, we need to rewind. Back after the Super Showdown, when the supernovas finally forced the dark presence back into the spirit realm. During that battle, Superman severed one of the creature's massive tentacles. The presence retreated, but the tentacle was left behind, rotting on the surface of Oninoshima. Over time, it began to bleed, seeping corruption into the ground. Flies swarmed to it, and soon nests appeared. That's when the bugs, the Onimorphs, began to mutate. That rotting tentacle was their origin, their first transformation. The swarm fed on the blood of the dark presence itself. But the red cube? That's a different kind of anomaly. One theory suggests the dark presence fused its demonic energy with the 0-point shard. That fusion created the red rift. From that rift, we saw crimson butterflies appear. And out of that rift, the red cube manifested. In other words, the swarm, the blood, the cube, the rifts, they're not separate events. They're all threads of the same corruption. Which brings us to our prime suspect, Kado Thorne. On the surface, Thorne is a time-bending vampire obsessed with wealth and power. But dig deeper and his story gets darker. Data miners spotted something unusual this season. Thorne's files were quietly updated. That doesn't happen by accident. Epic doesn't just move pieces on the board unless it matters. Combine that with the sudden appearance of moon symbols across OG, the wolf statue surfacing, and portals shifting to the exact same crimson shade tied to Thorne's design, and the evidence stacks up. Now here's the theory. Kado's lineage might stretch back to Oninoshima itself. Some believe he's connected to the siblings who first fought to seal the demons thousands of years ago. A warrior who craved immortality, and in desperation struck a deal with the dark presence. But instead of eternal heroism, he was corrupted. Twisted into a vampire, bound to serve the presence itself. That explains his obsession with time, bending it, breaking it, rewriting his fate. That explains why his imagery is plastered across the island again, and that explains why the cube's crimson glow mirrors the spirit realm's energy. Because Thorne may not just be involved, he might be the dark presence's chosen agent inside reality. And this is where it gets complicated. Back in chapter 4 season 4, after Thorne's defeat, Dr. Sloan experimented with his time machine. Strange anomalies appeared across the map, like the Durburger head pulled from chapter 1 season 5. That was our first clue that the timelines weren't just being observed, they were being tampered with. Now think about this. In the OG Season 6 event, instead of the rift pulling us into the in-between, what if it sends us straight back into the spirit realm? And waiting there in the shadows is Kado Thorne, not as an outsider, but as the dark presence's right hand. When you line up the details, the red cube, the crimson rifts, the updated Thorne files, the moon and wolf symbols, and the bug corruption, the picture gets clearer. Thorne isn't done. He's not background lore, he's a setup for the final confrontation. But it doesn't stop with Thorne. The fracture event already showed us the truth. The loop is broken, Fortnite's story isn't just repeating, it's branching. Every cycle spawns new possibilities. Think about the meteor from chapter 1. Without it, there's no visitor. Without the visitor, no rocket launch. Without the rocket, no rift. And without the rift, no cube. Now imagine this reality where those events never play out the same way again. That's what makes the current storyline so unpredictable. The actions of characters Jones, Hope, OXR, even us loopers can shift everything. The visitor was once the spark that ignited the war between the Seven and the IO. But in this new cycle, maybe he never arrives. maybe someone else takes his place. That's the kind of ripple effect we're dealing with now. And it means that when the final event comes, the outcome isn't locked. It's not set in stone. For the first time, Fortnite's storyline is truly unpredictable. So where does this leave us? The bugs were born from the Dark Presence blood. The red cube was born from its fusion with the 0 point. Kado Thorne may have been tied to this corruption from the very beginning, and the spirit realm is preparing for war. The island is fracturing, reality is unraveling, and the final event of this chapter isn't just going to be another fight. It's going to be a clash with the creator of all demons. A battle no one can win alone. The only question is, when those gates finally open and the spirit realm pours onto Oninoshima, whose side will Kado Thorne be on? Because if he's the Dark Presence chosen hand, then the red cube isn't just a warning, it's the beginning of the end. The island storyline is spiraling out of control. Swarm infestation, spirit realm fractures, and now a red cube pulsing with power at Loot Lake. But while the story keeps building toward Fortnite's next massive live event, Epic has been loading the game with updates, promos, and collabs that are just as insane. From Daft Punk, Doja Cat, and Scooby-Doo, to Sonic speeding onto the island, Jason Voorhees stalking the Fortnitemares lineup, and even the Batmobile returning with Joker and Batman styles. The amount of new content is unbelievable. And it doesn't stop there. Epic's cooking up a proximity chat game mode, new items, leaked cosmetics, and one service skin that honestly has players asking, what even is that? So today we're breaking it all down, every collab, every leak, every promo, and how it all ties back into the storyline chaos already unfolding. First up, free rewards. Epic's running a brand new promotion. Your very first web shop purchase in Season 4 is gonna unlock the Gold Skull Peel back bling completely free. If you're planning on grabbing a bundle or V-Bucks through the web shop anyway, this is the bonus you don't want to miss. Now onto the Blue Burr himself, Sonic. Fortnite is dropping animated Sonic and spin dash wheels, and it doesn't stop there. We're also getting Sonic, Knuckles, and supersonic cars in game. Yeah, you heard that right, not skins, not full-on themed vehicles, you'll actually be able to drive around the island. And speaking of Sonic, don't get confused, there's also a Sonic Fortnite collab happening. But Epic's made it clear, no skins are included in that one. Next up, some tech updates. Epic confirmed that reducing the install size of Fortnite is a phased project. They're pushing thin client updates all the way until 2027. So yeah, the game's file size should keep shrinking and getting more optimized year after year. And this one is huge for creators. Starting in December, UEFN creators will be able to sell real items inside their maps. That means your favorite maps might actually have merch drops or exclusive items tied directly to them. Fortnite's blurring the lines between the game and real-world shopping. Now onto leaks. A bunch of new skins and cosmetics have surfaced. And instead of spoiling everything up front, I'll let the video roll these out in the background while we keep covering the big news. One of the coolest reveals, the Batmobile is making a return, and this time it's bringing not one but two styles, Joker and Batman. Gotham vibes are back in a big way. Over on the island, the OG Moon and Bunker have now turned completely red. Small detail, but it ties into something much bigger. Horror fans get hyped. A high-definition Jason Voorhees medallion cosmetic is coming. Perfect timing for spooky season, and it looks brutal in-game. For something more lighthearted, there's a new companion set called Looper's Best Friend. Expect an adorable sidekick to tag along in your matches. And finally, the big one. Leaks are pointing toward the Red Cube event at Loot Lake. If you've been following the storyline, you already know how massive this could be. Kevin the Cube changed Fortnite forever, and a red cube appearing at Loot Lake, that screams reality-shifting chaos. This could be the setup for the next major live event, so keep your eyes peeled. Fortnite Daft Punk seems to be fully encrypted in the files right now, which means Epic's hiding it until the big reveal. All signs are pointing to their event dropping around September 27th, so keep that date circled. The new crew pack for October has already leaked, and it's looking like another solid exclusive set. If you're subscribed, you'll want to check this one out early. Fortnite Doja Cat is officially coming soon, another massive music crossover. And given Epic's track record with concerts and events, this one could be huge. Scooby-Doo is now fully confirmed for Fortnite. That's right, Mystery Inc. is officially hitting the island. Expect cosmetics and probably a themed event to go with it. Fortnite is also teaming up with K-pop Demon Hunters later this year. Another unexpected collab, but Epic has been going global with these partnerships. And for Fortnite 2025, the lineup is stacked. We've got Ghostface, Jason Voorhees, Scooby-Doo, and Repo, all confirmed. Definitely one of the strongest spooky lineups we've ever had. A new proximity game mode is also coming soon. The idea is simple: use proximity voice chat to make alliances with nearby players, or betray them on the spot. Epic even teased, don't forget to watch your back. This is gonna get messy fast. We've also got a hilarious new item coming, the bush transformation. Yep, you'll be able to disguise yourself as a bush again. And honestly, it feels like the perfect time to roll a clip of Homer Simpson slowly backing into the hedge. A leaked video of the monolith opening has also surfaced. I'll let that play here with no commentary so you can hear the eerie sounds for yourself. And finally, one of the upcoming service skins has fans scratching their heads. Respectfully, what the hell is that? Epic definitely went wild with this design. And that's where everything stands. On the surface, Fortnite's loading up some of the wildest collabs we've ever seen. Sonic Cars, Daft Punk, Doja Cat, Scooby-Doo, Jason Voorhees, and even the Batmobile roaring back onto the island. But beneath all of that hype, the storyline is reaching its breaking point. The swarm is still spreading, the spirit realm is staring through reality, the red cube is pulsing with impossible energy at Loot Lake, and Kado Thorne may be the key that ties it all together. Every update, every leak, every collab, it's all leading us towards one final moment. The chapter-ending event where the island, the spirit realm, and reality itself collide. So the question isn't what's next, it's who's going to survive what comes next. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you here for the collabs, the chaos of the red cube, or both? Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.